Let's talk about Comoros. Ever heard of it? Probably not. It's a cluster of volcanic islands in the Indian Ocean just north of Madagascar. Think of Comoros as the quiet cousin at the family reunion, full of wild stories if you bother to ask. These islands are called the Perfume Islands for a reason. Ylang-ylang, vanilla, cloves, fragrances that end up in luxury perfumes worldwide. So, next time you catch a whiff of something fancy, it might just be Comoros. Finding it on a map? Not easy. It's a small archipelago, Grande Comore, Moheli, Anjouan, and Mayotte. Mayotte's story? Complicated, we'll get there. Together, these islands form a nation with a history as rich as a well-spiced biryani. Why care? Because Comoros is a microcosm of global history. Culture, trade, power, and yes, colonialism. The islands have seen ancient traders, European colonizers, and plenty of drama. It's a journey full of twists and wait what moments, so buckle up. We're diving in. Dramatic volcanic landscapes born from fire set the scene. The island's story is about more than just geography, it's about resilience and identity. Comoros is a hidden gem with a scent and a story. Its history is everyone's story in a way. From ancient trade to modern struggles, it's all here. The journey starts now. Ready? Let's go. Welcome to Comoros. Long before Europeans arrived, Comoros was already a crossroads of the Indian Ocean. Sailors and traders from Arabia, Persia, and Africa stopped here, not just for coconuts but to settle, trade, and blend cultures. This mix created a unique Swahili culture, a blend of languages, traditions, and Islam which remains central today. The islands were divided into sultanates, mini-kingdoms, each with its own ruler. Imagine your neighborhood run by a sultan. Community meetings must have been wild. These sultans traded spices, timber, and sadly sometimes slaves. Spices like cloves, nutmeg, and ylang-ylang were as valuable as gold. Comoros was plugged into global trade networks stretching from Africa to India and China. They were the OG influencers of Indian Ocean trade. But unity was rare. Sultans fought over land, trade, and power. This constant rivalry made the islands vulnerable to outsiders. The lack of unity would become a problem when bigger players arrived. The stage was set for a new chapter, one with a European accent. The island's rich culture and resources made them a target. Internal squabbles opened the door for colonization. The Sultan's drama was about to be overshadowed by global ambitions. Comoros was about to enter the colonial spotlight. The next act, European arrival. The island's fate was about to change. The story gets even more interesting from here. Stay tuned. The plot thickens. Let's see what happens next. Enter the Europeans, Portuguese, Dutch, British, and especially the French. The Indian Ocean was prime real estate, and Comoros was right in the middle. European ships started showing up looking for trade routes and strategic stops. Comoros became a pit stop for water, food, and deals. But it wasn't just about restocking, this was a global competition for empire. The French, eyeing Madagascar and already holding reunion, saw Comoros as the perfect addition. Internal rivalries among the sultans made it easy for the French to divide and conquer. Treaties were signed, protection was offered, and one by one the islands fell under French influence. Mayotte was the first, ceded to France in 1841 by a sultan in trouble. The rest followed, not always willingly. French cannons were persuasive. The island's strategic location and resources made them irresistible to colonial powers. The old sultan rivalries played right into European hands. The colonial playbook was in full effect. Comoros was now part of the French Empire. The island's independence was gone, replaced by foreign rule. The next chapter? Life under the French. The story of Comoros was about to take a dramatic turn. The island's fate was now tied to European ambitions. The local drama had become global. The consequences would last for generations. The French era had begun. The island's identity would be tested. The journey continues. Let's see how Comoros adapted. Onward. Under French rule, everything changed. Plantations for vanilla, copra, and perfume crops took over. Local farmers now worked for colonial profits, often in tough conditions. Sultans lost power, French administrators ran the show. French law, language, and education created a new elite, but most Comorians faced hardship. Resistance simmered, uprisings and grumbling were common. The French military kept order, but it was colonial order. Infrastructure was built, but mainly to extract resources. The local economy became dependent on cash crops. If prices dropped in Paris, Comoros suffered. Colonial dependency was the new reality. The island's autonomy was gone, replaced by distant control. Life was more controlled, less their own. The benefits of colonialism, mostly for the colonizers. The Comorian people paid the price. The struggle for identity and independence grew. The seeds of resistance were planted. The island's story was far from over. The next chapter, reclaiming agency. The fight for freedom was on the horizon. Comoros was ready for change. The journey toward independence had begun. The story continues. Even before full French control, Comoros was a key player in Indian Ocean trade. Dhows sailed these waters for centuries, carrying spices, silks, gold, and more. Comorian sailors were renowned navigators connecting Africa, Asia, and beyond. The islands produced valuable goods, spices, timber, and at times, slaves. Under French rule, trade shifted to serve colonial interests: vanilla, copra, perfume essences for export. The island's strategic location kept them relevant, but their economic agency faded. Comoros remained in the mix, but now played by someone else's rules. Comorian history isn't just treaties and dates, it's full of surprises. Legend says settlers from Persia founded dynasties here, blending cultures across the ocean. The islands were once a patchwork of sultanates with alliances, betrayals, and feuds, like Game of Thrones but tropical. Pirates, including legends like Captain Kidd, sometimes used Comoros as a hideout. The name Comoros comes from the Arabic kamar, moon, giving us the poetic islands of the moon. Maybe it's the glowing volcano, or just the island's magic under moonlight. These quirky details make Comoros' story unique. History here is alive, strange, and unforgettable. The island's mystery is part of their charm. After decades of French rule, Comorians wanted to run their own show. Post-World War II independence movements swept Africa. In 1974, a referendum: stay with France or go independent. 3 islands voted for independence. Mayotte chose to stay French. Awkward split. Mayotte remains a French territory, a source of tension to this day. The other islands declared independence in 1975. The early years? Chaotic. Coups, mercenaries, and political instability. Figures like Bob Denard, a notorious mercenary, became infamous in Comorian politics. The dream of stable independence faced harsh realities. Building a nation proved harder than ending colonial rule. The Mayotte issue still complicates regional politics. The struggle for unity and stability continues. Independence was just the beginning. The real challenge: building a future. Comoros was on its own, for better or worse. Independence in 1975 brought new challenges. Mayotte stayed with France, leaving a lingering dispute. Political instability and economic struggles defined the early years. The economy relied on a few cash crops, still tied to old colonial patterns. French language and systems remained shaping daily life. The Mayotte issue continues to strain relations. Decades of colonialism left a mark on identity and confidence. But Comorians are resilient: rich culture, strong community, and slow progress. Efforts to diversify the economy and improve governance are ongoing. The journey from perfume paradise to independent nation is still unfolding. Comoros is writing its own story, one chapter at a time. It's a story worth following, even if you still need Google Maps to find it.